messed up. Yeah, I know I did you wrong, but I learned my lesson. Now what if we could move on? Remember the good days. I wish that we could go back. I know I'm not perfect, but at least give me a try.
Hi. Hey everyone. Are we working? Are we working? Are we working? Yeah, we've got audio, we've got video, we've got heart, we've got soul, we've got vision, we've got a mat, we've got hips that are cranky. We're gonna make them happy. This flashlight is our witness today. He's like, I'm tired, don't talk to me. Been breathing in smoke all week. For everybody who's affected by the wildfires, my Canadian friends, my Chicago friends in the surrounding areas, let's just remember that sometimes shallow breathing during this time is going to be actually more beneficial for us. And we're also going to remember that the focus, the intention, is not to overwhelm our systems. This is not the time we go hard, no matter what all the runners think out there. Sometimes you just pace yourself for the good of your lungs, yes? Okay. So I've got a little elastic loop, and I've also got a ball, and we're gonna use them sparingly, but they'll be there for you. And if you don't have either of these things, please don't worry yourself. Your body weight will be perfect. We're gonna put that off to the side. Before we get moving, one thing that I wanted to talk about, which I'm kind of excited, I believe we've landed on our fall structure. So we're gonna be streaming, you and me, in Flash. We're gonna be streaming 3 classes a week. We'll have our Welcome the Week Mondays, which will always be a rebounding class, because it's the best possible way to start the week. Yes, we know this. And then on Wednesday mornings, same time, 9:30 is the earliest I can get here. I wish I could do earlier, but for those of you who watch the replays, thank you. On Wednesdays, we'll be working on a support strategy. And so what that means is either a strength training session, a mobility, a flexibility, something of that nature. Good morning, good morning, good. Uh-oh, where am I? What happened? Are we here? All right. Can you all see me? I think so. My other camera went out, so hopefully we're good. All right. I think we're good. Okay. Let me just drop back in here. Hello. Sometimes this technology really gets me and interrupts my thinking. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep talking. My intention is to, okay, we're good. Okay, you see me. Sorry, the screen just all went blank for a minute, so who knows? We are gonna work, even though the universe is suggesting otherwise, we are going to work on Wednesday mornings. It'll be support strategy. So this is where we're gonna work on the elements of strength training, mobility training, flexibility, and even some cardio. So you'll see some bouncing mixed in there. You'll also see some of the seat format, all of those things. And then we're gonna do a recovery session on Thursdays. I hesitate to put class on Friday mornings because I just know that things happen and people travel. So we'll do a recovery session on Thursdays. All of the focus of the classes that we're working on in this venue of YouTube are going to be focused on the population that needs a more gentle, progressive approach. So this is not where we're gonna hit it hard. There will be no bikini body, snatch, tone, sculpt, bull. We're not doing any of that. We are working for our well-being. We're moving for our life and our quality of life. And for those of you who speak specifically to, it's just making me a little emotional. For anybody who has felt othered in the space of fitness, for anybody who is struggling with autoimmune conditions that just don't make any level of sense, but you still have this desire to move, I'm creating this space for us, okay? I'm creating this space for us to be who we are, to experience movement on our terms, to unlearn and dismantle the toxic fitness tropes and norms out in the world. It's time, and you deserve a space. So if you're here for a particular aesthetic goal, I have no judgment on you, but just know that we're going to focus on our hearts first and our meat suits second, even though we'll be moving them. Okay, I love you, I love me. Let's get moving. We're gonna start in a wider stance than you would stand in normally. So feel where like your normal stance is, your kind of hip socket width stance is, and then we're gonna take it out to the side. I'm afraid to look at the comments because I might cry. So shake it out, right Flashy? Shake it out. You're not gonna make an appearance today? We're gonna start with a little roll down. Again, if you're not rounding your spine or flexing your spine, you can fold at your hips. Let's start just rounding over. We're gonna just bring it down. We're gonna see what's there for us in terms of flexibility. We're gonna let our heads drop. We're gonna let anything that does not belong in that headspace just pour out the top of our head. We're gonna bend our knees a little bit and just let that weight drop into the soles of your feet. And then start to roll up. As you roll up, it's like you're building anew. You're just finding that space through your spine, through your heart, lifting your chest up. Let's do it a couple more times, rounding over and just taking it forward. The name of the song, if you haven't tuned into the words, is Damn. It's like, damn, just get out of there, thoughts. Get into that body. Roll all the way up. Good. Lifting to the top and stretch and open your heart space. Let's take it one more time, rounding over or folding in the hips over. Yeah. Once you get down to the space, we're going to slowly make our way down to a seated position. I'd like you to make your own way. So figure out what that means for you, figure out how you get there, and then we're going to go ahead and come down onto your back. I'm going to face this way for us. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's time for a change. We're ready for a change. All right, so let's take our heel of our hands just to either side of your pelvis. So if you kind of move some of the tissue around, you might be aware of your hip bones underneath there. And if you're just not sure of the anatomy aspect, don't worry about it. Just think above your thighs, a little bit higher than your legs, where your legs meet your hips. And we're gonna begin with something called a pelvic clock. This is one of the, I think, simplest ways to go about influencing some lubrication to our joints, and then we're going to get into our low back area as well. So just be mindful that if you do have any tension or pain, you just kind of tiptoe up to the edge of where it begins, and then don't feel the need to force your way into it. So we're going to envision that the number 12 on the clock face of our pelvis is right underneath our belly button, and the number 6 is underneath our tailbone. And so first, if my hands are my pelvis, we're gonna rock the clock back to press against the number 12 under our low back. And then we're gonna rock it forward to press against the 6 o'clock. Now, a lot of times when I give this to clients in the first go round, it's kind of a tilt, like a deep. So that's fine. I also want you to see if you can kind of imagine that there are a number of points in between 6 and 12. So as you rock back, trace the pathway to get to the 12. As you rock forward, trace the pathway to get to number 6. And then we'll do that again. So roll it back, finding it there, and then rolling it forward. And rolling it back, and you can just be breathing as needed. Sometimes an exhalation can help you get a little heavier to the mat. So if you want to release as you exhale and drop your waist back to the mat, and then exhale, of course, take another breath in, you know. I can still kind of taste the smoke a little bit. It's weird. It just feels like, you know, I don't know, sitting around a campfire for too long, that kind of thing. Yeah. Let's do one more to 12 and one more to 6. All the way back. and forward. So what's kind of cool about this is as you're moving your pelvis, you are moving your hip joint. You're just moving the socket around the ball. Different way to go about it. So now we're gonna go between 3 and 9. I forever mess up the directions, so just choose the 3 and the 9, which is your right and left hip, and then tap into one. So you're gonna push down into one hip. The other one might lift up, but what we're not doing is rolling over, okay? So we're really isolating the movement into our pelvis, and then we're gonna roll back to center, and then press down into the opposite side. So right now, 6 and 12 are pretty parallel, and you're just tilting it from side to side. So picture a plate, a clock face, whatever you need to, going side to side. And something that can help is reaching your opposite knee a little farther as that hip lifts off, and then kind of pulling your thigh bone into the socket. So this action is similar, it's very exaggerated, but similar to walking, right? So as we reach on one side, we're pressing back through the other side, and as we reach on the other side, good. Let's go a couple more times. Excuse me. And again, just enjoying and noticing, enjoying the movement and noticing any tension and just deciding how you want to work with it. In my body right now, I've mentioned before, I've had Epstein-Barr virus reactivated, and it's really manifesting in inflammation in my joints, which is perfect for a fitness instructor. Yay! But it's frustrating, and what I notice is that there's a lot of tension, and I've had to really create a bit of a working relationship with it. Otherwise, it's either going to stop me or I'm not going to move, which is not good for either of us. All right, let's come back, let your pelvis center, and then think for a second, okay, where am I now? Am I in a different place than I was when I first laid down? Maybe you feel your feet heavier or the back of your pelvis heavier. All right, we're gonna rock around the clock now. So let's start at 12, rocking back to press your low back towards the mat. Let your front body really reach through to the back body. And then go in which direction you feel is 1, 2, and then land on 3, and then go 4, 5, and 6, and then 7, 8, and 9, and 10, 11, and 12. So let's just rock around the clock. We'll go 4 times clockwise, and then we'll reverse it, all right? Starting at 12, let your arms be wherever they want to be. If they help you on your hips, then go for it. Yeah, pelvic clock is, I hasten to say, or hesitate to say that it's magic, but it's kind of one of those exercises that just does a lot for us. And I can feel it really showing me where the tension is in my hip. Once you finish your 4th one in this direction, then we're gonna go in the other direction. And as always, if that sneaky little voice is coming into your mind saying, hey man, hey woman, hey human being, let's reverse. This feels like it's not doing anything. I want you to tell that voice to be quiet for a moment, because it is not, we are not doing cardiovascular work. Nope, we're not doing that. And are we doing strength work? Not in the traditional sense. Are we doing awareness work? Heck yeah. And you know what trumps speed? Slow awareness work. So as we take our time, our brain actually pays attention a little bit more, as long as you're keeping your focus. All right, let's finish our last one and then come back to center. Now, I want you to vision in your mind 6, 12, 3, and 9. Think of those 4 numbers and imagine that you could press them all down equally into the mat. Now, if you find that there's no way you're gonna touch 6 and 12 at the same time, or there's no way you're gonna touch 3 and 9 at the same time, think about just taking your big clock and making it smaller. Like maybe it's a pocket watch, or maybe it goes down to a wristwatch. You get to decide how big your clock is, but your goal is to try to create weight through those 4 points. So you make your clock face as small as it needs to be to get it down there, And then we're gonna just practice keeping that clock face heavy as we fold in our right leg, and then we lower it down. And then we go left leg. So we're gonna start to add a little more movement into this. And your goal is just to keep that clock really heavy at all 4 numbers. And remember, if it needs to get smaller for you to accomplish this, go for it. If it needs to get bigger for you to accomplish it, go for it. You get to decide, it's literally your body. Yeah. So the challenge is pulling that knee in without rocking off of, usually 6 is where we would rock off of. So a lot of times people will go rock back. There's nothing wrong with that, but the awareness we're trying to gain right now is of our hip flexion or folding in our hip as we keep that pelvis stable. All right, so you can stay with this bit. If you want to turn up the level of challenge, then we're going to start to just switch the legs side to side. Remember, you're breaking a pencil at your hip. Your clock face is heavy to the ground. 12 doesn't want to stay down, but I'm gonna send a gentle invitation to keep it there. Good. Yeah. Now, if you chose the challenge, but you have no control over the clock face, then you're no longer in the zone where you're receiving a benefit of this exercise. So go back to the heavy clock face, or I should say the intended benefit of this exercise. So go back to putting the clock face really heavy and go back to lifting one leg at a time. Keep it simple, yeah? Good. All right, let's go 3 and 2 and 1. Now, with whatever knee is in, let's extend that leg straight up. You're still balanced on that clock face. Do as much as you can to get that leg straight. We're gonna flex the foot, and then we're going to lower that leg down to hover above the mat. Reach out through your heel, let your hip flexor get long, and then break a pencil to come all the way up. Now here's how it's gonna be a little easier on your hip. Again, we reach down, pay attention to the clock face, push into the clock face, push into the clock face, and then keep pushing down as you lift that leg up to the sky. Keep going, reach it down, and lift up. Now, remember, this class is called Happy Hips. So if you are feeling a certain kind of anger, maybe bend your knee a little bit, maybe lessen the length of your leg, and that could be a little less on your hip. If you need a break, take the break. Lifting it up. Good. Reach it down. All right, we're gonna do one more time. Lift it up. Reach it down to a place where you can hold it for a moment, and then send it out to the side as wide as you can without coming off of the opposite number, and then come back in. So if you're reaching out to the 9 o'clock side, stay heavy on 3. Oh, there's your oblique work. There's your support work. Reach it out. I know your legs are getting tired. You can also slide this on the floor if you need to, okay? Put it all the way down if you need to. Let's go one more. Groaning is welcome in all of my classes. Lift it up to the sky, bend it, place your ankle on top of your opposite knee, and let that knee open up. Let that hip stretch. Good. All right, we're gonna think of that clock face. You're sensing a theme. We're gonna reach through to gather our leg. Back of the hamstring is gonna work fine for most of us. If you need a little deeper stretch, you're gonna go onto the knee, but I really want you to pay attention to that clock face. So as you draw your knee in, can you stay balanced on all 4 points that we've referenced before? Can you press your clock into the mat as you fold your knees into your chest? Breathe gently. Let your top leg release, open as much as it can. Good, let's lower all the way down. Let's take it onto the ground. Before we go to the other side, we're gonna press evenly into both feet. Bring your hands up, bring your arms back against the mat, bend your elbows, lift your hips up, open your hips, and then land on your clock. Can you get all 4 numbers? I missed 12. So we reach up, And we kind of stamp down into that clock. Lift up, and then stamp it. And lift up, and make that impression. And I'm feeling, you feel the flesh of your body touch, and then I'm trying to kind of push through. I'm trying to think if it were possible to push the back of my glutes, my butt, my back into the mat. Could I possibly feel the bones pressing down? The answer is no, but it's the idea that gets you to put a little more weight into the mat. Yeah, good. Let's go for 4. And 3. And 2. Woo. And last one. And lower down. Every time I make like a exclamation, he wags his tail, and he's totally asleep right now. I wish you could see. I didn't set up the flash cam today. Maybe next time. All right, here we go. Other side. Opposite leg stays down. Bring your leg up, flex your foot. We're gonna lower it down. Remember, stay on that clock, and then lift it all the way up and reach it down. I'm standing really heavily into that opposite foot, by the way. I'm really pushing down into the ground to make sure that everything is heavy. See, that's the thing. Gravity is our true best friend when it comes to doing these controlled movements. It's a concept called ground force reaction or ground force transfer, and it comes into play. You already know the rule. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So the more you push down, the more the floor pushes back against you. Now you're in a partnership. If you're just laying there, the floor also just lays there. Think about it. Good, let's do one more. We're gonna take it down, and then we're gonna take it out and in. Remember, keep that clock stable, reach it out, and then pull it back in. Reach it out. I'm leading with my heel on the way out and pulling in with my toe on the way in to keep it nice and weighted into the mat. Yeah. Good, reach it out. Pull it back in. Last one. Good, lift it up, cross it over, and just let it rest for a moment. Reach it through. Very tight today. Let's go ahead and pull it back, but stay on your clock. Pay attention to both 6 and 12, 3 and 9 also, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Breathe. See how far you can bring it in. Good. We're in a slow pop playlist today. I hope you're enjoying it. I had to keep everything simple. Simple for the smoke. All right, lower down. Place it, instead of our bridge this time, same action with the arms. Widen your legs a little bit wider than they were for your bridge. Think 3 and 9, right and left hip. And we're gonna pour the weight into 3, let's say, to let your knees go over to one side. And see how far you can go over without lifting your opposite shoulder up. And then as you come back, think of rolling through the center, find all 4 numbers of your clock, and then push weight down into the opposite hip to twist it over. So super duper heavy to the mat, shoulders, rib cage, pelvis. Pause to feel all 4 numbers, and then make a decision to pour it over into the opposite hip. Yeah, good. Pull it through, reach it down, and then reach it over. All right, you're still there, good. Sometimes I wonder. Come all the way back to center, good. Start to notice the way that the top leg is moving towards the inside, the midline, and the bottom leg is moving towards the outline, right? So the leg that's moving towards the floor presses towards the floor from the outer thigh. The one on top goes from the inner thigh. Good. One more each side. There we go. And we're working on a little rotation in our spine as well. Good. Okay, so let's take our hands out either to a low V, you can go to a T if that works for you, and then I'll ask you to do the same thing. Hi, Flash. Bye, Flash. You can either do your knee drop side to side like we just did, or we'll do an upgrade. If you're gonna do the upgrade, we're gonna bring our legs into our chest. So just kind of tucked in like so, still on your clock, and then you're gonna roll over to the opposite side just as far as you can, and then pull it all the way back to center from your center. So choose the version that most coincides with your needs today. And if you're ready for a little challenge, you can join me with the legs up. And if you're just working on mobility, then you keep your feet down and it's not a big deal. Good. That's it. Whoops, watching those opposite shoulders. Yeah. Because when you keep your shoulder down, not to a point of tension, but when you just think about staying heavy on that opposite side, you start to get a little more twist and maybe stretch and maybe engagement. All right, so if your legs have been bent, we're gonna do 2 more levels, and it will be okay if you just stay with your feet on the floor. Your next level is your legs at tabletop. Makes it a little more challenging. Glue your inner thigh together and then roll it over, keeping the opposite shoulder down, and then pull it all the way up. Now remember, you got Flexi Lexi, which is my alter ego. So my back wants me to go down far. And again, this is what I do for a living, so it's where I'm gonna go today. But you may be a couple inches, and that's okay. I have been there too. Whether it's just a little pain or tension, discomfort. Good. All right, last variation. This one's called TikTok, not the app. Same deal, but your legs are longer. You're rolling onto one side of the clock. That's as far as we're gonna go, and you can feel if you tried it with the legs straight that this is much more core connection, much more abdominal work, much more spinal work. Still focusing on that clock. Coming back and establishing your center mark and then rolling to the other side. Good. Let's do 1 more each side. Yo! Good. And then last one. Come all the way in. Bring your knees into your chest if you've had them on the ground. We're gonna take our hands on the backs of our legs and come into a little happy baby. So you could flex your feet. If you're able to reach to the outside of your feet, go for it. And again, pull your weight against the mat. Some of us are gonna have a real hard time keeping 6 down, but the intention to reach there will make a big difference in how you're stretching. So let's find it, let's drop it in, let's open the chest. And then what I'd like you to do is fold in one leg as you try to straighten the other as much as possible while keeping your clock balanced. Little inner thigh stretch, and then let's fold in that leg. And then let's take the other side out. If your hands are on your hamstrings, that's okay. You're just kicking out, in, and a little bit out. Actually, that feels like a better stretch, to be honest with you. And then other side. Good. 1 more. And last one. Good. All right. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock yourself up to a seated position when you're ready. Oh, okay, so here we are. We are going to work a little hip strength. We've been working on that too, but we're gonna work a little hip and postural strength. So I'd like you to sit with your feet flat, hands behind you. And what we're gonna try to do is fold in our hips as much as we can in the same intention, with the same intention to break pencils. So we're pushing our hands and we're trying to come forward, but you're doing so with a flat back. So again, this might be minimal range of motion. Like if you push forward and that's it, that's okay. Let's work there today. So I'm showing you, the extreme version, which is to come into this flat back. Wherever you are, I want you to imagine that you're holding on from your hip, and then we're just gonna release one arm up and then lower it down, the other arm up, lower it down, both arms up, lower down, and then we're just gonna relax out of it for a minute. Okay, let's do it again. Finding your flat back or as close as you can. Go one arm up, lower down, the other arm up, both arms up, and lower down, relax out of it. Curl back towards 12, yeah? Come all the way up. Sit tall, open your heart. One arm lifts and lowers, the other one lifts and lowers. Both ones, and lower and roll. Good. Last one. Find it. Find your limit. Lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering, and lifting and lowering and rocking back. Good. All right, so from here, let's go ahead and turn to face front. And you can be leaning back on your hands, and we're gonna practice just the same little knee drop as we come over into a little bit of a, what we call a Z sit. You're gonna press from the back of the leg to open up your hip, and then we're rocking back to our sits bones to bring everything back to center. Then we're gonna go the other side, roll it over. Remember to push your hip so it's open here, and then come back to center. Now, if you have some mobility, you can widen your legs and get a little bit more stretch here so it's more like a bit of a, it's kind of like a Z. Yeah, good. And then we go to the other sides. 2 right angles is what we're heading for. Good. So the wider you go, the wider you sit, the more extreme the position is, let's say. Yeah. Good. All right, let's go over to the first side. And this is where you can take your ball. All right, so I'm gonna have that ball under my knee. If that's not possible for you, a pillow or nothing will do. I'm using my backhand to help myself sit up, and I'm gonna flex that back foot, and I'm just staying as tall as I can, and I'm just trying to lift that foot off the floor and lower it. And I'm doing that by rolling my leg into the ball and lift. So yeah, you might feel a little bit of something in your hip. We're working internal rotation. It's not uncommon to cramp, which is happening for me right now. Oh. So do what you need to do. Do your own little cramp dance. That's right. Good. That's it. Let's do about 3 more. I'm not really timing these. We're just getting into about 10 of them. Yee! And 1 more. Good. All right, now take your hand on the ball, on the pillow, or if it's just so it doesn't roll away, and you're just gonna lift the knee up, touch it down. Lift it up, touch it down. We're not rocking back. Yeah, we're just trying this lift. Now, believe me, it's like one of these things where, you're having a regular expected meal and then somebody throws in like this very, different dish. You're like, just try it. That's where we're at right now. Just try it. You don't have to like it. Just take a bite. That's the mom in me. Good. 1 more time. Good. All right, so now from here, we're gonna turn around. Still keep that front leg bent. Take this one out to the side. If you have a little pillow, that will work. You can also use your hand holding on, or you can put your ball underneath, like right here. Your sits bones are pressing down. You can use your hands for support, and all we're gonna do is just lift up and touch down. Now, if you want a little bit more challenge, this could be one where you just take your hand behind your head, and it's definitely gonna integrate some posture here. So the idea is that we're working on a deep hip fold, and we're trying not to collapse as we lift up, yeah? Trying to stretch through the crown of the head, reaching out through the heel. Yes. Good. 2. And last one. And good. All right, let's take the ball out. I kind of want to do another thing with it, but I think it's going to be too complicated. So the last one we're going to do is take your opposite leg straight out in front of you. Lean back a little bit, and either with the working leg that we've just been working, bent or straight, we're gonna lift up to put the toe on top of, the heel on top of the toe, or any approximation. So the upgrade to this one would be to sit really, really tall and lift and touch, which is gonna be a ton of work. You can recline, keep your chest open. We're gonna touch and lower down. Okay? If it needs to stay bent, it needs to stay bent. If you're just tapping it because your hip's not bringing it there yet, that's okay. All right, up and down. Up and down. I'm gonna sit up a little taller. Up and down, yes. Up and down, one more. Up and down. Bend the leg you just worked, pull it into you. Reach and take a hold of it. Use your other hand behind you. Take a little twist. Good. Open. Good. Come back to the front. Open your knee out to the side. Do the best you can here. Take your hand above your knee. Give a little press down and then just rotate away from it. Feeling a little opening in that hip flexor. Breathe. Good. Coming all the way back to the center. We've got another side to do. Woohoo! All right, take your legs nice and wide. Roll over to the Z set of your choice. Pillow ball, whatever you need, goes under your knee. And use your hands to keep yourself lifted. Flex your foot. We're gonna lift it and lower it. Lift and lower. Cramp, lift, and lower. Lift. So I promise you, even though some of the stuff that we're doing right now might fall into a little bit of the struggle bus category, you know, you always have the choice of where to go and how deep to go, right? Even if it's just the idea of lifting your foot off. But here's the deal. When we stand up, we're gonna feel so amazing. We are. We're gonna feel good. Yes. Let's go, 2 more. And last one. Good, hold the ball if you need to. Open the knee without dropping back. And put it down. Here we go. Lifting it up. Good. Woohoo! I don't know if my screams are motivating or realistic, but just know that they are not conscious. Like there is definitely a fitness, you know, script that goes like, all right, let's get into this thing. Woo! That's not what I'm doing. I'm literally like just emoting. Last one. Can't stop emoting, won't stop emoting. Feeling my feelings, here we go. All right, you remember what to do. Ball or pillow under your knee. You're trying to lift it up and lower down. Tickle the monstera and lower down. You want to take your hands behind your head, be my guest. Uh-oh, but my sit bone wasn't down. Now it's down. God, the body is just a cheater all the time, but it's that way for design. It's meant to find the least possible resistance to get from one point to the other. So it's really like wired for cheating when it comes to shortening the distance. So we really have to dangle a big old carrot in front of it to get it to pay attention. And usually, like in this case, the carrot is, oh yeah, my joints are strong. I can do this. Good. All right, relax. We're gonna bring both legs out in front of us. We're almost done with the hips. We're gonna get, well, I mean, kind of. We're gonna get a little stretch in a moment. So remember, either bent or stretch, you're gonna touch it up to the toe and all the way down. And all the way down. Sitting as tall as you're able, bending your knees if needed. Good. Woo. Yes. 3. Find a happy place. 1. And bend it in. Hold on to it. Turn towards it. Yes. All right. We're going to come onto hands and knees. In the event that you need some support in or a standing situation, you can do this exercise in standing on the back of a chair. So we're going to take the ball one more time, ball, pillow, whatever you got. We're going to come into a quadruped position, and the idea is that we're going to be holding on to it between our thigh and our calf. So find a stable position that allows you to support yourself in it. If you're standing, you're just folded at the waist, holding onto a counter or a chair with your knee bent behind you, holding a ball or not holding a ball. We're just going to lift it up to the top and lower all the way down. Nice and easy. Open your hip, lower it down. Think of opening in the front, engaging the back. So engaging your glute, your hamstring, in order to open that hip flexor. Good. We go for 4 more. Push into the ground through your hands. Stay strong in your torso. That's it. 2. And 1 more, and we're gonna stay right here. We're gonna lift the leg out to the side. So just nice and easy, and bring it back in. Good. Out and in. Nice and consistent. We're working with the range that we have. We know our hips are gonna talk to us, but we only have 4 more here. Reach. You can think of that clock now on the back of your pelvis, but also on the front of your pelvis. 2 more. Can you feel the front muscles connecting to the back muscles for support? Let's pause here. We'll revisit that in a second. Let your ball go. Take the leg you just worked and put it out to the side. We're just gonna sit back any amount we can. If you can get to your heel, great. Feel your inner thigh stretch here. And then we're gonna use the hands, drag ourselves back up with support from the center to open up the hip. Right here, let's do it again. So front clock to back clock, reach it back, shift it forward, and again. Reach it all the way back. Shift it all the way forward. Reaching it back. And just looking for the stretch you need. Good. 1 more time. Reach it forward. Now we're going to take this same leg, we're going to stand it forward. If you are standing, you can lunge this one forward. Let that knee get into a good position. Tilt your tail under. Feel the stretch on your back leg. Hold it here. We do this one a lot because I think it feels good. Reach your same arm as back leg up. And then you can bring your forearm down to your front leg. Just take a little side bend, gentle side bend over. Hello, butterfly. That's fun. Good. And come all the way back up. All right, let's get on to the other side with the ball. So gather it up. Where are we? We're just kind of going with the happy hips. I promise I'll be a little more timely, but this is about the last sequence that we're gonna do, so we're good. All right, here we go. Squeeze that ball, find your clocks, lift, and touch. Keep your hips facing down so you're not turning your 3 and 9 up or down. Looking for that support. Breathing, finding your focal point. Good. 2 more here. And then we're going to reach it out to the side, so directly out from your hip. Up and down. The more you push into your arms, the easier it will be to lift that leg. Push into your supporting shin, both hands, lift. Almost there. 4 more times. Find it. Good. Last one. All right, release. Roll it away from you. Take it out to the side. Feel your flat back here, and we're just reaching back to sit towards our heel. And then reaching forward. Find that cadence that works for you. Feeling the stretch you need right now. Good. Reaching it back. Bringing it forward. You got it. Let's do one more here, because I just found a juicy spot. Here, reach it back. Good. Bring it all the way up. Let's take that foot forward or in a forward lunge. Find yourself stable. Tuck your tail under just a little bit so you open up that hip. Reach the same arm as that leg. Find it. Let it go. Thank you, body, for showing up for us. We appreciate you. Good. Come all the way back up. We're going to go down to hands and knees one more time to come up into what we call an up stretch. Might look like a down dog, a million different names. Lift your hips up and pedal out your feet as much as you can. Come on, little foot. There we go. Good. Give me 4 more here, just side to side. One more. Let's widen our feet and then walk your hands in. And remember how we rolled down at the beginning? Let's feel what's there. Is there any last moment that you want to let go of? Pour into your feet and then slowly build yourself back up to a standing position. Notice where your pelvis falls into line. Do you feel a little more length on the front of your hips? We'll come to face front again. Just for a second, take a little marching step. See what's there for you. How's the balance? How's the sensation? Yeah, good. All right, to finish, let's just check in. I'm going to invite you to take your hands to your heart, to your center, maybe to your hips, maybe to your brain, whatever you need. I'm going to go to my heart today. And then let's just take a real moment to drop in and ask why the moves matter to us today. For me, I don't know that it was so much that the moves mattered as much as the intention of class. So hopefully that is your experience as well. There it is, our little leaf. As you come back into center, know that this class is here for you ongoing. Share with your friends. Get ready for a very full fall, and you know that I am 100% open to suggestions and requests, so let me know what is on your agenda for everything. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Make sure you're taking good care of yourself. No overexertion in times where air quality is low. That is just a very intelligent and self-careful way of being in the world. And know, like, You can still move in your home. You can still make healthy choices for yourself throughout the week. Just because you don't get to go outside and hit it hard this week, it doesn't mean that everything has to spiral. It's simply just a different opportunity and a different challenge to move your body. Okay? All right, my friends, thank you so much for being here. Oh, I love that your lower back is happier. Yay! Wonderful. Oh, you make me feel butterflies too. Big love to all of you. I'll see you next week.